months, which wasn't a bad gig. I mean, I got £70 a day at first, which wasn't bad, pretty much, especially for what it was. Because I'd help with ground stuff. It's dangerous work, but I enjoyed it. Went well with it. But eventually, in time, my wage was actually slashed because essentially my boss kind of lied to me about this, and it still pissed me off. But essentially, he was going through his financial difficulty, which he is. But so he slashed my wage by 20. But what he didn't tell me is I was the only one affected by that, and the second reason why I did it is because apparently I wasn't quick enough for his liking at work. So he decided not only to save himself a bit of money, but also to slash the wage just because he was slightly pissed off because I wasn't as fast as he wanted to. So I now lose like £20 a day over that little nitpick, even though we get back fine at time. Like, make no issue at all, making time and getting things done all right. I still got punished for like such a little fucking thing. And the thing is, I couldn't even fucking quit because I broke a fucking chainsaw on site and I had to fucking pay for it, pretty much.
See, now this is where my knowledge of like UK labor rights is really lacking, because even in the States, slashing someone's wages just cause, especially if you're now paying less than minimum wage, is not allowed. That is actually reportable to the Department of Labor. But just if you broke something while working with it, a piece of equipment, that is on the business. That's why they have insurance. The bottom line for a lot of this, unfortunately, is the American dream is no longer reality. The American dream, as tongue-in-cheek as this might be, is to move out of America because things have gotten so bad. Like, there was this exchange on Twitter that just spoke to what is going on in America right now. Like, literally every day we seem to have a mass shooting. And I think Amnesty International even issued a travel warning for the United States due to how much gun violence there actually is. Some conservative, some big GOP party person was talking about how are we going to be like Australia and we're going to have to give up our guns? And somebody from Australia tweeted back going, "Our kids don't even understand what active shooter actually means. We'll be fine without our guns. We don't want to be you." and that's really a testament to what is going on in our country right now. It's like, it is so bad that people are just picking up weapons and shooting people because they have no other recourse but to basically go out in a blaze of glory. And it's awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, it really makes you question just the whole mental health crisis America has, because you just don't. Okay, you do see it elsewhere, but just in such a developed country like America, and it just happened so recent. And I mean, obviously it does probably happen in other Western nations, and I know probably maybe in America it does get highlighted more because America's and everyone's news outlets is unavoidable. But the fact that it happens in such a developed nation like America so much is really saying something, because the thing is, if you know the right people, guns aren't difficult to get here. Like, if you really want to do something like that in the UK and you knew the right people, you could. So I don't know if it's more like an accessibility to the gun issue, and maybe it's just a more mental health. Like, what is going on in America that's making these mostly young men say I don't want to play this game anymore, and I want society.
If you had told people 30 years ago that something that bad had happened, like the shame level, like the absolute shame level would be through the roof. I can't understand how we've allowed things to get this bad. I don't understand it. I really don't. And I'm hoping somebody can eventually explain it to me in ways that we can understand, because nobody is saying what we consider to be the right thing. They keep dancing around the issue. They keep saying, well, guns aren't the problem. No. Guns are definitely the problem here. And I'm pro-gun. That's the thing. I am not one of these people that say we should take away guns altogether. No, I think, honestly, that people should have the right to own them in the right situations, because the gun control laws we have are abysmal. The fact that this kid, right after turning 18, can go buy 2 AR-15s with a bunch of ammo without any kind of controls put in place for him doing so, that is a problem. And I don't think anybody should be able to buy an assault rifle. You know, just by the name alone, you should not be able to purchase that as a private citizen. Handguns? Fine. There are plenty of handguns with stopping power. Like, if you're worried about some sort of home defense, there are plenty of handguns with enough stopping power that you should not be able to fear in your own home. But nobody needs guns of this level. That's just insane.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. And the problem America has that they just do not do proper back checks, like, on these people. Like, don't look into, like, the history, none of that. Like, in fact, anyone who's going to any private gun show there and just pick anything up and no one bats an eye, it is quite concerning. Like, over here, right, what happened in Plymouth, right, that only happened, right, because for whatever reason, the police decided to allow a license to the guy who had a history of anger issues and assault and all that, and they approved his license to get a shotgun. And over here, you can't really get one of those if you're like a farmer or you have like a valid reason. And the only reason he got that is, unluckily, he was vetoed.
Mike Spicy says, the schools are terrible regarding history. You literally learn more from the library at certain parts of the internet in the schools. And he says, I'll go further. You learn more from Wikipedia articles than history in school. 100% true. One of the biggest fallacies that was ever taught, at least to my generation, the millennial generation, is that Wikipedia is not a valid source. Wikipedia is way more policed than most other news sources are these days. Like, the moderation on Wikipedia is insane, and most people do it for free. Wikipedia is more trustworthy than, like, CNN and Fox News.
Yeah. I mean, to the teachers' credits, back in your generation, like back then, Wikipedia was actually not as reliable. People could a lot more easily just go on the pages back then and change shit. Like, I remember going on the Edswell's Wikipedia page when I was 14, and it said like Todd on the show liked hentai and stuff. Like, legit said it had a hentai addiction. So back then, it was very easy to mod things. But no, nowadays, they are quite quick to it.
Back to what you said about VPNs and the government. Like, another big fallacy that is fed to a lot of people in the world is you can protect yourself by, securing your transmissions with VPNs or any type of cryptographic software or mechanisms so that nobody else can see what you're doing. Is 100% a lie. The government, if they want to see it, will see it. The NSA or Homeland Security will get to it if they need to get to it. I mean, there are acts in place that allow them to actually get to your information if they need to. Companies like DuckDuckGo saying, we don't save any of your information. Bullshit. Your information passes right through your servers. That information is collectible. So these are all big lies. And I know I'm in tinfoil hat therapy, but for someone who's worked in IT for so long, like, people who claim that, you can be protected. No, you can be protected from your average layperson. Like, you're going to be protected from your script kiddie that is, thinks that they're a hacksaw now because they know how to download Kali Linux. You're going to be protected from them.
What I said to him, right, was, we're long distance. Once you get going, start talking to the girl, like, you need to get some money together. You need to go and see her as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll just phase off. Like, if you want a long distance to work, you need to, like, make an effort to see each other as much as possible and keep that spark going. The problem is, people don't see each other. There's a lot of sexual, like, emotion for them. And eventually, once they get bored, because they'll find an option that's a lot more closer by. And you say you love each other all you want, but if you ain't getting that sexual gratification, then it ain't really gonna matter. One party's just gonna get bored. They don't want to get their rocks off or have that physical intimacy, and they're just gonna be like, this ain't gonna work. I want to move on. So you do need to make that effort to see each other a lot, to be able to, like, have the money to do so,
Right.
and that's to support that relationship, because that's where most fail. Like, you need to have, like, the financial backing and effort to see each other enough and then eventually, after a good year or two doing it, you need to make efforts to actually get over.
I truly do believe that how parents raise their kids to prepare them for the world really shows. You can tell who had either a really supportive parental upbringing, or perhaps they were smart enough to adapt to a poor parental upbringing and became stronger because of it, which is not the ideal outcome, but it is an outcome that people can have success from, because I would much rather it be the first version where the parents actually treated their kids right.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, especially like advice from the parents of like how to maintain a good like relationship is important too, because a lot of what people see or how the parents act does reflect on that outlook. I just believe it's so important at an early age. People or kids know what a good relationship looks like, so then when they get to the age, they know how to treat their partner. Nowadays, yeah, you don't see the mum there, you don't see the dad there, or like dad or mum at all, and it is like can be very confusing, especially if you're like a young person going into the world, and you just see all this like chaotic relationships and like how it just really warps your mentality. So like you said, as long as a child has made some avenue of seeing what a healthy relationship does look like and how to make it work.
There are also some people who faking mental illness is reprehensible. Faking almost anything is reprehensible, but the ones who fake the mental illness, it seems like it's worse than some of the other things that people fake. And people who don't know better believe that's how people with mental illness act. Yes, exactly right. Like, if you see a TikToker who's faking it and acting all quirky, you think that that's how all people with the particular disorder that they're faking are, when nothing could be further from the truth. And that's just further damaging people's view. Tip of the day. I had a good one for today, too. Tip of the day is very important to some of the things that we've been talking about. So the tip for today is ask yourself, what does it matter to me? The next time you find yourself judging someone for their clothing, interests, or hobbies, the more you train yourself to not care about the personal preferences of other people, the more relaxed and nicer you become as a person. And I think that's good advice. Now remember, everybody, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Keep it real.
Actually, I just dropped my mic out.